Hi everyone, happy Wednesday. My name's Molly. I would like to share today a personal story with you, and as many of us are possibly going into the education field or into storytelling, I thought that I would tell a story from my childhood that taught me a life lesson that is often really hard for children to grasp, and I learned it through storytelling. My story starts off when I was about a couple days shy of 5 years old. I was on my way home from my piano lesson with my mother, and I was excited for three reasons. I was leaving piano lessons, I was terrible at them. Two, I always got apple chips after my piano lesson, bribery. And three, my birthday was just around the corner and I could not wait. My mom was asking me all sorts of questions. What was I excited about? How old I was going to be? And finally she asked, what kind of cake would you like? And I said, cat. I want a cake shaped like a cat. I was so excited. And surprisingly, my mom obliged. I don't know to this day how she made a cake shaped like a cat, but she did it. It was sort of this hideous gray frosting, but it was definitely a cat with a little tail. And my siblings put the five big candles on it for me, and everyone sang me happy birthday. And there I was, just excited as can be. And I closed my eyes and thought really hard about the perfect wording on how to make a wish, and blew out my candles. It was great. The next day rolled around and it was time for my birthday outing. We were all very spoiled. We got birthday parties and a birthday outing with just us and our mom. And that day my mom was taking me to go see The Lion King. The animated version, obviously. I'm a bit old for the new release to have happened during my childhood. But we were on our way and all of a sudden my mom sped up next to this truck at a stoplight and kept looking over and I was so confused because I didn't know what she was doing. It wasn't totally crazy for my mom to drive a little fast, but that's another story. So I finally asked her, I was like, Mom, what are you doing? And my mom said, oh, nothing. I'm just being silly, and she brushed it off. And so I asked her again, and she said, oh, that man, he just looked like your Uncle Brad. It's like, okay. So I left it alone because I knew that my Uncle Brad was a sore subject for my mom. I knew that they were very close. I knew that he was no longer with us, and I knew that my mom was very, very sad when it came to talking about my Uncle Brad. So I didn't know what to say. And I sat there and I thought about it, but I knew in my mind, I said, it's working. And I kind of smiled, and my mom said, what? Thinking that I had some little child fun scheme going on in my head. And I told my mom, well, it's working. And she said, what's working? And I said, my birthday wishes. And she said, how do you mean? And I told her, well, I can't tell you it's a birthday wish. It won't come true if it's a birthday wish. And then I thought about it. And since my birthday wish was already coming true, I could tell my mom. And so I told her, well, for the last 2 years, I've been wishing that Uncle Brad would come back to life. Because that is what I wanted for my birthday. I wanted my mom to be happy, and I didn't want her to be sad anymore about my Uncle Brad, who had died in the year and a half previous. So she looked at me and she had just a really sad look on her face, and she said, Molly, you really need to wish for things that can come true on your birthday. And I kind of said, okay. I was confused, but I left it there because my mom swiftly made a right-hand turn and we were in the parking lot, and she put a big smile back on her face and said, no running in the parking lot, let's go. So we go in, and this is my favorite theater from my childhood. It was a really old theater, everything from floor to ceiling was red velvet, red carpets, and it had this smell inside that just reeked of popcorn butter. And it was just, to this day, it's one of my favorite smells. And I will go to the theater to eat popcorn. But so we enter the theater, we take our seats, and the movie starts, and the music's fantastic, and I'm loving this movie until the scene where there's a stampede and Simba and Mufasa are separated. And as many of you know, at this point in the movie, Mufasa falls from the cliff and dies. I remember holding my breath during this time in the movie. I've just kept waiting and waiting and waiting, and I can still to this day see the dust settling in the scene. And I was waiting, and I just thought if I wanted it bad enough, that Mufasa would take a breath in and he wouldn't be dead. But as many of you know, that's not the case. No matter how much I wanted it, Mufasa wasn't coming back in the movie. And that was the moment that I realized why my mom got so sad when it came to talking about my Uncle Brad. And I am thankful for that experience as a child. I could say that I left that theater that day without a piece of my childhood, but I gained a life experience that I think I learned in one of the best ways. Because after all of that, the movie does end with the fulfilling idea that we carry the loved ones that we lose with us. And so I am thankful for that. And I thank everyone for listening to my story today, and I hope you all have a great rest of your week.